Hello and good morning and welcome to the weekend market recap video. My name is Matt Williamson for the Four Derivatives team. It is May the 12th, which is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to any mothers that happen to be tuning in. And holy mother, it was not a very exciting week in the market, unfortunately. Really not a whole lot going on. You had one, two, three, four, five up days. We did have one down day in the S&P, but it was a gap up. So do we count it? Do we not? Let's not count it. So yeah, just a straight up move, not a huge up move. Went from 41.40 or so to 42.20. It's about 80 points to the upside, a little over percent, and a third or so if my math is correct. It might not be. I didn't check it. And if you look over here at the Nasdaq, same story. Five up days in a row here, nothing too significant. 17,950 to 18,160. Not going to even try the math on that one, but I imagine it was probably a percent and third, percent and a half or so. And then the Russell, similar story, although we had a down day here on Friday that took us down about 2/3%. So your close on Friday was in the neighborhood of 2035. We still finished up on the week at 2060, but not all that much. All right, some notables in the news here. We've got, let's talk about Tesla first. So Tesla has obviously sold off quite a bit. We were trading up here at 270. Now we're down at 170. So that's a pretty significant sell-off. I can't necessarily say it's a good time to buy for personal reasons, but in terms of looking for some kind of technical signal, you could make the argument we're sort of pulling a reverse head and shoulders, some kind of something going on here. Either way, we do have a higher high, and there's your lower low. So, generally that would be a reversal. So we're making lower lows and lower lows and lower highs and all that. And then all of a sudden here, we turn around and make a higher high, which should put us into an uptrend, from there on out. So if you're looking for something to get long on, from a technical perspective, Tesla may not be a bad place to look. You obviously have a lot of upside. There have been 100 points of upside, so very significant upside on a percentage basis. Okay. I also want to take a quick look at CVS and Starbucks. Get you some drugs and coffee in the same store. I feel like Starbucks should start selling Tylenol. All right, so here is CVS. I took the entry up here at 67. You can see my little, I call them magic arrows. You can see the little magic arrow entry here. Obviously, it did not work out so well because they had earnings and the stock cratered down here. You now have another entry right here. So your entry is still valid for CVS. I think there's plenty of upside. There's also a 4.6% dividend, I think, 4.7% dividend. So while you're waiting, you at least get paid some on the dividend. And I think this has upside back in the 70s or 80s, despite what the chart is telling us here. Obviously, that's a weak chart, but if we look back at all the prior stuff there, earnings, 212, 221, 221, 131, pretty significant dip in earnings. But again, on the technical front, I think we should, see some strength to the upside. One more thing to talk about quickly would be Starbucks. Starbucks, same kind of situation. We had the entry on the technical side right there on April the 12th, and then we cratered after earnings here and have another entry signal on May the 7th. Okay, this was this week, middle of the week. So if you're looking for something to get long on, technically you missed the entry here at 72. We're trading 76 right now, but the first entry was all the way up here at 84. So I would consider 76 to be a perfectly fine entry. Okay, I believe I entered on the first after earnings. I saw this signal, and by the time I really saw it, it was already up here, I think. And I don't like to chase the entry. So if the entry is 84.90 or whatever this close here, 84.92. If the entry is 84.92, I don't want to get into it at 86 or 85. I want to get into it at 84.92. Okay, so we sold off. There's the crater. I bought it right here. We dipped a little bit more, and then I think I'm back up at this point 4% according to my little calculator over here, about 4%. Okay, one more quick thing to mention. We've got to talk about Boeing. I don't want to talk about Boeing. I feel like we got to talk about Boeing. Boeing is on a very, very ugly downward trajectory. Much like an actual Boeing itself, it is crashing, right? Maybe recovering here just a little bit. We've come back up to this prior low. Similar kind of thing to many other names. This was a double bottom here, huge run up, huge run back down. You can see where it stopped right at that previous bottom. And then we've made some lower lows. It looks like we might be turning around. It's just hard to say. So tread lightly, either flying in or buying some Boeing. And you do have some upside if it recovers 180 to 260 or so. No dividend on Boeing, I don't think. Yeah, no dividend, either riding in or buying any Boeing. All right, so if you're out there doing Boeing, be careful. If you're out there flying Boeing, be careful. The pilots are just jumping out of the windows at this point. You got more whistleblowers than a high school gymnasium. So please be careful if you're buying some Boeing. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Take care.